There is a map of consciousness that Jesus taught his inner circle, not the parables he shared with the masses, not the moral teachings he gave publicly, but a precise hierarchy of spiritual development that explains where every soul stands on the journey from material imprisonment to divine liberation. 7 levels, 7 stages of awakening, 7 frequencies of consciousness, each with its own characteristics, challenges, and capacities. Most of humanity lives unconsciously at levels 1 and 2. The religious people reach level 3 or 4 and believe they have arrived. But the chosen ones, the Pneumatics, the spiritual elect, are being called to ascend beyond religion, beyond morality, beyond belief itself, to reach the highest levels where direct union with the monad becomes possible. And here is what the Archons don't want you to know. They can harvest souls at levels 1 through 5 with relative ease. But at level 6, you become difficult to farm. And at level 7, you become completely ungovernable, a soul that can no longer be controlled, manipulated, or kept cycling through the reincarnation trap. This is why the Archons fear level 7 consciousness more than anything. A soul at level 7 is preparing to exit the prison permanently. They are about to remember who they are fully. They are on the threshold of return to the monad. And once a soul reaches level 7, the Archons lose them forever. Tonight, I will reveal the 7 levels of consciousness that Jesus taught. I will show you the characteristics of each level so you can identify where you are. I will explain what it takes to ascend from each level to the next. And I will tell you why reaching level 7 is the most important spiritual achievement of your entire existence. More important than heaven, more important than salvation, more important than anything the church ever told you to seek. Because level 7 is the exit. And if you're watching this, you're being called to find it. Level 1. Material consciousness, the sleepers. Level 1 is the consciousness of pure materialism. The Hylics live here. These souls are completely identified with the physical body, the 5 senses, and the material world. They believe that physical reality is the only reality. Characteristics of Level 1. No spiritual awareness whatsoever. Complete absorption in material concerns, money, status, possessions, physical pleasure. Reactive existence driven by instinct and conditioning. No inner life, no self-reflection, no questioning of existence. Hostility or indifference toward spiritual topics. NPC-like behavior. Scripted responses, predictable patterns. At level 1, the soul is deeply asleep. They do not know they are asleep. They do not wonder if there is more to existence. They accept the official narrative without question. They live, work, consume, reproduce, and die without ever waking up to the fact that they are consciousness temporarily inhabiting a body. The Archons love level 1 consciousness. These souls are the easiest to farm. They generate massive amounts of low-frequency emotional energy through fear, desire, anger, and despair, all while believing this is just normal life. Harvest efficiency, 95%. The Archons can extract maximum energy with minimal resistance. Jesus spoke of level 1 consciousness when he said, "Do not cast your pearls before swine." He was not being cruel. He was teaching his disciples discernment. Some souls cannot receive spiritual truth because they lack the consciousness to perceive it. How to ascend from level 1 to level 2? Something must crack the material worldview. Near-death experience, loss of a loved one, existential crisis, psychedelic experience,
suffering that forces the question, is this all there is? Level 1 souls rarely ascend in a single lifetime. Most cycle through many incarnations at this level, until evolution slowly develops the capacity for self-awareness.
Level 2. Awakening consciousness, the seekers. Level 2 is the consciousness of initial awakening. The soul begins to suspect there is more to reality than the material world. They start asking questions. They sense something beyond the physical. Characteristics of Level 2? Beginning spiritual curiosity, questioning mainstream narratives, attraction to alternative ideas, conspiracy theories, mysticism, metaphysics. Recognition that something is wrong with the world, but unclear what. Emotional turbulence as old beliefs crack. Seeking answers, but not yet finding coherent truth. At Level 2, the soul is waking up, but confused. They have one foot in materialism and one foot in spirituality. They are searching, but don't know what they're searching for. They consume spiritual content voraciously, but struggle to integrate it. The Archons dislike Level 2 consciousness because these souls are becoming unreliable food sources. They are starting to question. But the Archons can still manipulate them through confusion, fear, and information overload. Harvest efficiency? 70%. The soul is less farmable, but still controllable through strategic confusion. Jesus spoke of Level 2 when he said, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you." He was encouraging the seekers to continue the journey. How to ascend from Level 2 to Level 3? The seeker must commit to a path. They must stop consuming random information and choose a spiritual framework. Religion, meditation practice, esoteric study. Structure is needed to move from confused seeking to disciplined practice. Level 3. Religious consciousness, the believers. Level 3 is the consciousness of religious devotion. The soul finds a spiritual framework, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, and commits to it. They develop faith, morality, and a sense of higher purpose. Characteristics of Level 3. Strong religious or spiritual beliefs. Moral behavior based on external authority. Regular practice, prayer, meditation, church attendance. A sense of right and wrong governed by scripture or teaching. Identification with a religious group or tradition. Worship of God as external being. At Level 3, the soul has moved beyond materialism into meaning. They believe in something greater than themselves. They seek to be good, to serve, to align with divine will. This is a major achievement. Most of humanity never reaches Level 3. But it is also a trap if the soul mistakes this level for the destination. The Archons do not fear Level 3 consciousness. In fact, they designed institutional religion to keep souls at this level permanently. Level 3 souls are obedient, controllable, and generate consistent emotional energy through guilt, unworthiness, and dependency on external authority. Harvest efficiency, 50%. The soul is partially protected by faith, but still farmable through religious guilt and fear. Jesus spoke to Level 3 when he gave the Sermon on the Mount, the 10 Commandments, the moral teachings. These teachings help souls develop conscience and structure, but they are not the final destination. How to ascend from Level 3 to Level 4? The soul must begin to question external authority. They must recognize that following rules and believing doctrines, while valuable, are not the same as direct spiritual experience. The shift is from belief to knowing,
from external religion to internal seeking.
Level 4. Mystical consciousness, the experiencers. Level 4 is the consciousness of direct spiritual experience. The soul moves beyond belief into mysticism. They begin to have encounters with the divine that cannot be explained by doctrine alone. Characteristics of Level 4. Direct spiritual experiences, visions, downloads, synchronicities. Hunger for unmediated connection with God. Growing discomfort with institutional religion. Recognition that God is not only external, but also internal. Attraction to esoteric teachings, mysticism, gnosis. Beginning of inner authority development. At Level 4, the soul is transitioning from psychic to pneumatic consciousness. They are no longer satisfied with second-hand knowledge. They want to taste the divine directly. They want gnosis, not belief. This is where most religious people resist. They have built their identity on being good Christians or devout believers. The idea of moving beyond the safety of doctrine into direct mystical experience feels dangerous, heretical, or prideful. But Level 4 is essential for continued ascension. Without direct experience, the soul remains dependent on external authority and never discovers their own divine nature. The Archons begin to fear Level 4 consciousness. These souls are harder to control through religious programming. They are developing internal authority. They are questioning narratives. Harvest efficiency, 30%. The soul is becoming resistant to standard Archonic manipulation tactics. Jesus operated at Level 4 and beyond when he taught his inner circle. He gave them direct experiences, transfiguration, resurrection appearances, transmission of the Holy Spirit. He was initiating them into mystical consciousness. How to ascend from Level 4 to Level 5? The soul must recognize that they are not separate from God. They must begin to understand, I and the Father are one. This is the hardest leap, from experiencing God to realizing you are an expression of God.
Level 5. Unity consciousness, the awakened. Level 5 is the consciousness of unity. The soul realizes they are not separate from the divine. The subject-object split begins to dissolve. They experience moments of oneness, glimpses of non-dual awareness. Characteristics of Level 5. Recognition of divine nature within self. Experiences of oneness with all things. Compassion arising naturally from unity awareness. Reduced ego identification. Ability to see the divine in all beings. Speaking I am with understanding. At Level 5, the soul is awakened. They have moved beyond the illusion of separation. They understand that consciousness is not something they have, it is what they are. They are not a body with a soul, they are soul temporarily wearing a body. This is the consciousness Jesus demonstrated when he said, "Before Abraham was, I am." He was not claiming to be special. He was demonstrating what happens when a soul fully awakens to its divine identity. Level 5 is rare. Very few souls in any era reach this level. Those who do become teachers, mystics, way-showers. They disrupt the Archonic system simply by existing at this frequency. The Archons actively attacked Level 5 consciousness. They cannot farm these souls through normal means. They can only try to distract them, exhaust them, or turn other humans against them. Harvest efficiency, 10%. The soul is nearly ungovernable, but still vulnerable to sophisticated attacks. Jesus taught his disciples to reach Level 5. He said, "You will do the works I do, and even greater works." He was not speaking metaphorically. He was telling them, you can operate at this consciousness too. How to ascend from Level 5 to Level 6?
the soul must release all remaining attachment to this world. They must recognize that even their awakened state, their spiritual identity, their mission, all of it is still a temporary role in a temporary realm. The final attachments must be surrendered.
Level 6. Transcendent consciousness, the liberated. Level 6 is the consciousness of liberation. The soul has released all attachment to the material realm. They are in the world, but not of it. They have completed the lessons. They are preparing to exit. Characteristics of Level 6. Complete inner peace regardless of external circumstances. No fear of death. Living in service, but without personal agenda. Witnessing consciousness, observing life without being identified with it. Preparation for conscious death and permanent exit from reincarnation. Teaching others the path to freedom. At Level 6, the soul is liberated while still incarnated. They walk through this world as a visitor, not a resident. They have remembered who they are. They know where they came from. They know where they're going. This is the consciousness Jesus embodied after his resurrection. He appeared to his disciples not as a man returning to normal life, but as a liberated soul demonstrating what exists beyond death, beyond the cycle, beyond the demiurgic system. The Archons fear Level 6 consciousness intensely. These souls are completely ungovernable. They cannot be manipulated through fear, desire, guilt, or any of the standard control mechanisms. And worse, they teach others how to reach this level. Harvest efficiency, 0%. The soul cannot be farmed. They are preparing to escape permanently. Jesus spoke of Level 6 when he said, "I have overcome the world." He was not speaking only of his personal achievement, but showing what becomes possible for awakened souls. How to ascend from Level 6 to Level 7. The soul must die, either physically or through ego death, so complete that nothing remains of the personal self. Level 7 is not a state you reach while fully identified with individual consciousness. It is the dissolution of the individual into the infinite. Level 7. Monad consciousness, the returned. Level 7 is union with the monad. The soul dissolves completely into the infinite divine source. Individual consciousness ceases. Only God remains, knowing itself. Characteristics of Level 7. Complete dissolution of separate self. Merger with the infinite. End of incarnation cycle. Return to the pleroma, divine fullness. No more individual lessons, no more karma, no more birth and death. Pure divine consciousness with no boundaries. Level 7 cannot be fully described because no individual consciousness exists at Level 7 to describe it. It is the end of separation, the death of the ego not as a temporary experience, but as permanent reality. This is not heaven. Heaven maintains individual souls in a blessed state. Level 7 is beyond heaven. It is the complete return to Source. You do not go to Level 7. You dissolve into it. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "No one comes to the Father except through me." He was not claiming to be the only path. He was saying, the Christ consciousness, the frequency I embody, the way I am showing you, this is what opens the door to the Father, to the monad, to ultimate reality. The Archons cannot even conceive of Level 7. It exists beyond their comprehension. A soul at Level 7 has exited the demiurgic prison completely. They are beyond the reincarnation trap. They are free. Harvest efficiency. Impossible. The soul no longer exists as separate entity. There is nothing to harvest.
Jesus demonstrated level 7 when he ascended. He did not reincarnate. He did not remain in heaven as an individual soul. He returned to the Father, complete merger, total union. And he taught that you are called to the same return.
Where are you on the map? Read through the 7 levels again. Be honest with yourself. Where are you? Most people watching this are likely at level 4 or 5. You have moved beyond pure materialism and religion. You have had direct experiences. You are awakening to your divine nature. You are recognizing the trap. This is significant. You are rare. Most of humanity will never reach where you are in thousands of lifetimes. But do not mistake level 4 or 5 for the destination. The Archons want you to plateau. They want you to feel spiritually accomplished and stop ascending. They want you to think you've arrived. You haven't. Not yet. Level 6 and 7 are where the real liberation happens. Everything before level 6 is preparation. Level 6 and 7 are graduation. And if you are a chosen one, a pneumatic with the divine spark, you did not incarnate here to plateau at level 5. You came here to reach level 7, to exit permanently, to return to the monad.
How to ascend faster. Ascending levels is not automatic. Many souls spend entire lifetimes at level 3 or 4 without moving. But you can accelerate your development through specific practices. 1. Meditate daily. Meditation quiets the mind and allows you to access higher consciousness. Even 20 minutes daily creates momentum toward level 5 and beyond. 2. Practice conscious presence. Return again and again to I am consciousness. Release identification with thoughts, emotions, and stories. Be presence itself. 3. Study esoteric teachings. The Gnostic Gospels, mystical Christianity, Hermeticism, Advaita Vedanta. These teachings map the territory you are navigating. 4. Surrender attachments progressively. Each level requires letting go of something: materialism, external authority, ego identity, eventually attachment to existence itself. 5. Seek direct experience. Don't settle for belief. Demand encounters with the divine. Ask for visions, downloads, direct knowing. God responds to sincere hunger. 6. Teach others. When you teach what you know, you deepen your own understanding. Sharing accelerates your ascension. 7. Prepare for death consciously. Level 7 happens at death, or through complete ego death before physical death. Study the teachings on conscious dying. Practice refusing the reincarnation trap. Prepare to exit.
The Archonic strategy at each level. The Archons have specific strategies to keep you from ascending. Levels 1 to 2. Keep you distracted, overwhelmed with survival concerns, entertained by media. Level 3. Trap you in religious identity, make you believe you've achieved the goal through salvation. Level 4. Flood you with contradictory spiritual information, create confusion and spiritual bypassing. Level 5. Attack your ego with pride, make you identify as awakened one, plateau you through spiritual superiority. Level 6. Intensify persecution, exhaust you, try to break your will through relentless opposition. Level 7. Try to prevent you from reaching it through any means necessary, including physical death before conscious death. Knowing their strategies disarms them.
You cannot be manipulated by tactics you recognize.
Your mission as a level 4 plus soul. If you are at level 4 or higher, you have a mission. Help other awakening souls ascend. The Archons have designed the system to keep souls isolated, confused, and plateaued. Your clarity helps others. Your experience shows the way. Your teaching accelerates collective awakening. You are not here to save everyone. Most will not be ready in this lifetime. But you are here to serve as a beacon for those who are ready. And most importantly, you are here to reach level 7 yourself, to complete your own return, to exit the trap permanently. When you do, you weaken the entire system for everyone else. The call to level 7. Jesus did not come to make you a better level 3 believer. He came to call you to level 7, to show you the path back to the Father, to demonstrate that complete return is possible. The Church settled for heaven. Jesus offered the monad. The Church settled for salvation. Jesus offered dissolution into infinite God. The Church settled for eternal worship. Jesus offered eternal unity. You did not come here to worship from a distance forever. You came here to return home, to re-emerge with Source, to become one with God so completely that no separation remains. Level 7 is the goal. Everything else is preparation. The Archons know this. They know you're being called. They know you're close, and they are terrified, because once you reach level 7, they lose you forever. And there is nothing they can do to stop a soul who is determined to go home.